I spend less than $500 a month on groceries for 3 adults. And in this video, I am going to show you 7 ways that I'm doing this. Hey guys, it's Justine with Debt Free Millennials, the channel for all things millennial money and debt-free living. If you want to learn how to become debt-free, click and subscribe. Today, I am going to be talking about groceries. It's one of our biggest expenses in our budgets. And in fact, there was a report by the USDA that said the average couple in the US spends more than $600 in groceries alone. That is insane. And also raise your hand if you've ever done that. I used to do that. Kyle and I, when we first moved to San Diego, we were spending a ridiculous amount on food. So I thought there's gotta be a way to scale that back. Now I am spending less than $500 using these 7 different tips. So I have my sister living with us temporarily, so that's why there are 3 adults in this scenario. So I know if I can do it for 3 people, you definitely can do it for you and your family, or you by yourself, or you and your boo, whatever your sitch is, it's going to work. Okay, tip number 1, I adhere to the 3-day meal plan. So that means instead of meal planning for the entire week, which can be overwhelming, especially for those who don't like to cook, try just 3 days. And then those other 4 days of the week, you have options. So you can either choose to eat leftovers, which I typically do during the week, and then you can also choose to go out. I love going out on Friday nights and I don't have to cook. So just plan for 3 days and that's it. It will save you a lot of money and save you from wasting food. Tip number 2, reuse ingredients for different meals. So a lot of the times I'll buy different seasonings or fresh ingredients that I need to use for one meal, and then I think, how can I repurpose this? Take, for example, cilantro. You always get a huge bunch of it, but you rarely end up using all of it. So I think, how can I repurpose the cilantro? I can use it for a marinade. I can use it in this really cool egg roll bowl recipe that I'm using. I can use it in a variety of ways so that I'm not wasting it. Tip number 3, shop the sales whenever possible. So produce is typically on sale depending on the season. So strawberries are going to be on sale early summer, whereas apples are going to be on sale in the fall. So if you like to eat fruit, shop the fruit seasonally. I also really enjoy looking at my grocer's circulars. You know, those really old newspaper things that you end up tossing out. Don't throw those away. You can actually use those and make your grocery list. Maybe there's a sale on pork chops and you can incorporate that into your meal plan for the week, and then you can include it on your grocery list. Tip number 4 is buy your staples in bulk. So in our house, we eat a lot of eggs, like a ton of eggs. So Kyle will end up hard boiling his eggs and bringing them to work in the morning, and I like eating eggs for breakfast. So instead, eggs are just ridiculously expensive in California for some reason. It's just so high. So instead, I end up going to Costco to shop for my staples. Eggs are 2 dozen for about $3.69 at Costco, which is cheap around these parts, guys. I also like to buy my meat in bulk. So I'll go to Costco and get ground turkey, chicken breast. I'll get a lot of zucchini and squash or salad mixes and eat those and buy those in bulk. Tip number 5 is to start cooking in large quantities. I've made the mistake in the past where I've cooked a meal and I end up not having hardly any leftovers, or maybe leftovers for one person. So instead of making, 1 pound of meat, I'm making 2 pounds of meat. I'm doubling everything, and then we're using those leftovers and taking it to work with us the next day, and we're having it for lunch. This really helps curb that spending appetite for when you want to go out to eat at restaurants during your work week. You can't do it because you've made leftovers enough to last you for the rest of the week. Tip number 6 is to start shopping at budget grocery stores. Now, I know I was skeptical of this at first, and budget grocery stores are not always the closest store next to you. In fact, it took me an extra 15 minutes down the highway to get to Aldi's, which was my closest grocery budget store that I could go to, but it was well worth the trip because I was getting such a good deal on produce and on chicken. I couldn't find these low prices anywhere else. And so I highly recommend, even if you don't incorporate this regularly, try just once a month, getting out there and seeing what's available. If you can step outside your normal grocery routine, you might be surprised at what you can find at these budget grocery stores. Okay, and my very last tip for you, which is my favorite thing now and has helped me rein in my grocery spending, is to track it using a receipt envelope and a printed tracker. So I've got this receipt envelope here, and I don't use cash. I use credit cards now. You could certainly use a cash envelope for this. It doesn't matter what you use to pay for the groceries as long as you are holding on to your receipts. And in this way, I can actually tangibly see how often, look at this, how often I am going to the grocery store. So it's been really helpful for me to keep this in my entryway table drawer, take a look at it, and save all of the receipts. The next thing that I really like to use is my grocery spending tracker. This is every single time I've been to the grocery store for the month of August, I write down exactly where I've been to, what day I went, and how much I spent. So for those of you who are interested, you can find this in the How to Control Your Spending workbook. There's actually 50 plus pages of trackers, envelopes, activities, all of that's inside. I find this really helpful. I put it on my refrigerator, and that way I can track every single time I've been to the grocery store, and I can see, whoa, I've already gone 6 times, 6 different occasions for this month. How can I rein this in and keep this under control? All right, there you have it. That's 7 tips that I've personally used to keep my grocery spending under $500 for 3 adults. Let me know in the comments. What are you doing to rein in on your grocery spending? This is something that I think we could all use a helpful hand and some helpful advice from. So drop your comment below, and I'll catch you in another video.